Alright, you might be a bit confused by the title if you don't know what we're on about here. Um, I am YT_Moradinho, also known as Morraid, also known as Raid or Raidinho. I'm the person whose channel you're watching. Subscribe if you really feel like it. And with me today is my very esteemed guest, who has, not forcefully, but we have sat here for about like 2 hours-ish, talking about this and coming up with ideas and stuff. Yeah, it's about that. Like,
Oh, okay. So, all right, yeah. You mean, yeah, okay. The entire time it's been, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Sorry.
Explaining about this, Mr. Harry York. Go follow him on Instagram, I guess.
Vengeance, as
Mr. HI Vengeance or the
call
Batman.
me. Or Batman, yeah. Or just,
Yes.
you know.
He's a lot of people. But one thing he is today, he is the DUD law explainer.
The DUD Law Master, yes.
We have combed through a bunch of footage on TikTok, going through comment sections, trying to find pieces of lore so we can patch together this primal weird being that you should have seen on your For You page. So we're just going to basically just get straight into this. So yeah, we're going to start with the origin of the DUD. Basically, how this is going to work beforehand, I'm going to give a kind of simple explanation, and then we're going to have Mr. HY Phoenix go into more depth and explain it further. So if you want to hear the more explanation, just skip to his bit. I really don't mind. So basically, from what we have understood about the origin of the DUD, is he is essentially an alien slave. Now that's going to sound really weird.
Hold on.
Go on.
Let's give a brief explanation of what the DUD is initially, before we start dipping into actual, like,
100,
lore.
yeah. I get you.
Okay.
So, we have these videos popping up on YouTube, Instagram I've seen, and TikTok. And it seems like it's mainly Simpsons characters, but other universes too. And they...
We'll explain that later.
We'll get into that bit, but we see this thing called the DUD, which kind of looks like Millhouse, but a little bit more simpler. And people see this, and then they do this Homer reaction face. Now, this stems from an episode of The Simpsons where they're playing this board game about like romance or something like that, and Bart Simpson ends up getting the card, the DUD. We will explain more about the board game and its significance later on.
Basically, in short, it's not just a board game.
Yeah.
It serves a purpose.
Exactly. And so from here, Homer does the smile, which we can see on other people's faces. Keep that in mind. And then from there, it just stemmed out to this weird analog horror level goosebumps giving thing where it's got this creepy music over the top.
Creepy music.
Always, and we just get into this really weird, like, change of the face, and it's not molded properly, and
it's very uncanny.
That's a good way of putting it. Uncanny.
There's no further explanation to what happens after, why it happens. It's mysterious and unknowing.
And that is what we are here to solve. We have combed together this massive amount of footage, and we are very proud of what we've got.
Before the lore is addressed, before we go into everything we've discovered, MatPat style, there is sections of these videos that I truly think is inexplainable.
Okay, that's a good point.
And at the end of most of these DUD videos is like a picture, a second-long clip of like cults. We don't know what cults. It could be various cults, but it's usually just a cult. We have no idea what significance this serves. Zero. I couldn't come up with anything. It might click with me later on. But currently, right now, I have no idea. But we might address it again. But so far, that's the only thing we have no idea about.
Yeah, 100%. It's just this really weird and just it just adds to the level of creepy that these videos have already. But yeah, that is a very good point, and thank you for bringing that up because I did totally forget about that.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the explanation, the context we need to give.
Indeed.
Let's get on with like the origins in universe.
Yes.
So like I said earlier, my belief or our belief, sorry, is that the DUD is a interdimensional slave, an alien slave, if you will. And he's come down with one sole purpose, and he will not stop until that purpose is been fulfilled. And I'm gonna hand over to Harry here just to give you a little bit more context, I guess.
So, there was this character in The Simpsons that's been a very popular fan theory for years. It's this character called Graggle. Now, there's no proof of his existence except people's word. And we think that he has abilities to cloak his own presence, but not necessarily like an actual power, but more of like a skill of sorts. Now we think he comes from another planet of a very highly intelligent and advanced group of beings that used their planetary neighbour as a harbouring for a kind of slave of just blank primal beings that serve no other purpose than to just follow commands, right?
Yes.
And the Graggle, the main Graggle that people bring up, is the lead, like, creator of these clones.
Almost like a scientist.
Yeah. And he regretted what he had done by creating these slaves after realizing what they could do. He's immune to it because he created it, because they were made with his DNA, because he was the lead scientist, right? But other people he saw were infected by this ability that the Graggle has, that the DUDs have, sorry. So the Graggle fled, right? He sensed them as a danger, and he fled to Earth to warn them of the DUD's power. And the DUD, plural, had no knowledge of this until there was one singular DUD who became conscious and had one sole purpose of getting revenge and punishing Graggle. And because they share DNA, the DUDs, or the main DUD, knows where Graggle is. So he follows Graggle to Earth by himself. And then when he gets to Earth, he finds Homer. And because Graggle and Homer are similar-ish looking characters, the DUD, the main DUD, gets mixed up with Graggle and Homer because he can't find Graggle because of his cloaking abilities. So he thinks that Homer is Graggle.
Remember that the DUD is a newly to having a conscience. He's not used to having a conscience. So he's going to get things confused, obviously.
He's very set out on his objective of getting revenge on Graggle. Now, because he's like a powerful being, he transports himself, manifests himself more in fact, into a board game that he initially appears in the show.
Yes.
Now this is because he does this because Homer buys it. And because he thinks that Homer is the Graggle, he manifests himself among Homer. And then we are introduced to the Graggle in the show. Not the Graggle, sorry, the DUD.
The DUD, yeah.
The DUD appears in front of Bar. And the DUD senses a being similar looking to him, Milhouse, Bart's friend. So whilst he uses Homer as like his motive, he sees possible friendship with Bart. So
And hold on. In the episode where we first see the DUD, Milhouse is playing the game with him.
yes,
This is
Milhouse
where-
is there. So
yeah.
that's where
The connection comes from.
Yeah. So the DUD sees a possible friendship with Bart. So what he does is he tries to establish a connection with Bart through making people around him infected.
Yes.
Now, this is after everything that happened with the DUD and his other DUDs, where basically the main DUD that gained conscience came to Earth, but he was captured. But by himself, he has less power. And we'll get into why later.
Yes. Very good explanation, I think.
Yeah.
That is how the DUD is come to the Simpsons universe in the first place. He's come here and he is trying to make friends with Bart and do his sole duty of infecting everyone else. Yeah. I think the next point we would really need to go to there is explaining his powers, telling
Of course.
everyone about the DUD's powers. If you wouldn't mind, do you mind if I take this one?
Yes. Go on,
Okay.
go on.
So the DUD's main power is freezing people because his planet is next to a black hole or orbits a black hole. Everyone's frozen there. They don't move. Well, no, they move. They just look in their like deteriorated state, right? All they do all day is just walk around and stare. That's all they do throughout the whole day. Okay.
Their existence.
For their whole lives, essentially. This one DUD, the conscience DUD, we'll call him, comes out of nowhere. He gains consciousness. He's like, look, I'm going to basically cause mayhem, whatever, right? As we've just explained. Get revenge on Graggle because of what Graggle's done, right?
For creating his obviously miserable and sad existence of living on a cold, barren, wasteland planet.
Yeah. Now, we got this Graggle, the guy, freezing people on our Earth, obviously. Well, not our Earth, the Simpsons Earth. He is freezing people because paralyzing them and giving them. Wait, we've agreed, I'm pretty sure, on the fact that he's showing people images of Homer dying.
Yeah, Homer. It's Homer.
It's not anyone else. It's just Homer.
The conscious DUD thinks it's Graggle. Because it's new to its existence, so it's stupid. It doesn't quite recognise the difference between Homer and Graggle. In his mind, they are similar looking people.
And
So
this
he
is
has...
go on.
Sorry, take this one.
Okay. So now he is thinking, if I show people this what I think is Graggle dying over and over again, which we have seen videos of. You see videos of Homer just collapsing because he has a toaster in his hand and he gets stuck and he just dies, or he's chasing a dog and then he slips on the curb, right? We've seen Homer dying, yeah. The Graggle, Jesus Christ. The Graggle thinks that this is, they know about, the DUD thinks that they know about Graggle. So they're showing pictures of this deity, this guy dying. This thinks is going to cause a reaction in their brains, thinking, hold on, we need to do something about this. We need to go save this guy, essentially.
See, no, I thought, because he gains power through infection, he wants to show his victims the Graggle dying.
Yes, that was it. Sorry, my brain just planked.
He wants to show the Graggle dying to keep people infected so that they don't resist the urge to fight the infection, because he's making his victims believe that if they're infected, if they're released from infection, they die.
Yes.
by showing
I'm gonna let
Graggle
you.
what he thinks is Graggle.
I'm gonna let you cook for a second. Hold on.
Dying.
I just got a call, so I'm gonna let you cook for a sec. Yeah.
Yes. So, what the Graggle, no, what the DUD does is he believes that if he shows his victims of the Graggle constantly dying and suffering in pain, that they will never ever resist the urge to like fight the infection, so that he'll never ever, they'll never like break the spell. Sort of, it's like a spell. So he gains more power, and then basically, what he does is with Bart, because Bart is like such an important being to the DUD, it's sort of like a Groundhog Day situation where he repeats existence over and over again through the power of like Bart and stuff. So why we see multiple characters constantly get infected by the DUD is new realities being faced through the power of the DUD, because he's making Bart like sort of like attracted to him, not in that way.
Not in a weird way, as in
like,
attracted as
in
friends.
in a friendship way.
Yeah.
He wants to be friends with Bart by constantly showing that he doesn't want him to be a threat. It's just his nature. That's why Bart is the only person that can sense the DUD.
Yes.
Because
essentially,
he is the only one that the DUD actively tries to communicate with. Everybody else he just wants to make suffer.
Yeah.
So, what was after that?
So you just got up to Bart, the friendship, and the showing of people dying, because, getting infected, because he wants to show the friendship, basically.
So we've mentioned what happens when you're paralysed by the DUD. You're basically Gragglified. Well, Homerified, if you know the difference, but the DUD doesn't. So yeah, you're Gragglified, Groundhog Day sitch. So multiple characters get infected over and over again because new realities and stuff. So basically, when you're infected by the DUD, you don't move, you don't exist, you don't know what's going on. It's just your subconscious mind basically forced to re-watch constant visions of Homer dying over and over again, so you resist the urge to break the spell. But whenever Bart goes near the DUD, because he senses his presence, the DUD restarts the clock, sends everything back to the way it was when he first came to Earth. So everything can go over and over again, so he can constantly be
this friend
near and attract Bart.
Yeah.
Okay. We mentioned the singing, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what happens is the Graggle has the power to sing to Bart, specifically to Bart, because Bart is probably the only one that knows of his presence. But because Bart remembers everything that happens, the DUD sings to force Bart to basically try and not resist. So because obviously he can't, because he doesn't infect him permanently by showing him visions of of Graggle dying.
Yeah.
What he does is he sings to try and force Bart not to break the spell. So when he does eventually get infected, which is always the end case scenario, he just plays restart, and over again, constantly.
Until he makes friends with Bart, but obviously we know.
Basically,
Yeah.
But he does it not because he wants to make Bart suffer, but because he physically cannot make Bart his friend. He does it because he wants to, but he physically can't. So basically, he's unintentionally forcing Bart to suffer an eternity of infection and sadness of watching everybody around him just get infected by the DUD and just dying, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
What was it after this? We mentioned Area 51, right?
Have we mentioned that bit yet?
I don't think we have.
I think that's a perfect segue into it then.
Okay. So, initially, the conscious DUD came to Earth, as I said, by manifesting himself. But not necessarily... He manifested himself, his power...
Alright, I'll give him a little catch up whilst he sorts whatever's out. He manifests his powers, right, and he manifests himself, but he doesn't have a way of infecting people or freezing them, so to say.
Yes.
Oh, you're back. Okay, cool. I was just trying to cover for you.
Thank you.
That's
But,
all good.
his physical form doesn't have, like, powers, necessarily. But, like, his conscious mind does. So every time people see the DUD, it's like a vision kind of thing. It's not like a physical appearance of the DUD. Like, it's a subconscious vision of the DUD.
Yes.
The physical form of the DUD has the power to manifest these visions. So, when he came to Earth, he was captured.
And this is where we...
Initially, but because he wasn't quite aware of how powerful he was yet, he wasn't able to infect people yet. So he was captured by the US government.
He was still partially freezing people.
Partially.
But only for like a second.
Good segue here. This was done through the power of liver and onions.
Here we go.
Now, we don't know why this has the power of the weakening the DUD. We have no idea. But for some reason, livers and onions weakens the DUD powers. I don't think he's aware of it, because he's not quite knowledgeable enough yet. But basically, to keep him alive, because they don't know what to feed him, the US government just fed him scraps, which was livers and onions. And basically, this weakened him so that he couldn't manifest like himself into things to infect people. So what he did was he not necessarily forced, because he was still the only conscious DUD, he forced his DUD brethren to Earth to do his bidding. So, the entire time, the physical body of the DUD will always be captured in Area 51, because he's constantly being weakened by livers and onions, because he doesn't know it's weakening him yet. He isn't actually quite aware how powerful he is. So he gets his slave brethren to basically do his bidding. They don't know they're doing it. They have no consciousness. They are literally just blindly following orders. Basically, they share his mind. It's a hive mind. There you go. It's a hive mind.
That's a good way of putting it.
So every time we see a DUD, it isn't the main DUD manifesting them.
The main DUD is locked in Area 51.
It's mainly his slaves doing the bidding, but it is still his willingness to do it.
Yeah.
So, for example, in a video, Bart was at the church.
Yes.
And he was attracted by the singing of the DUD. And he went in the church and he saw the DUD. But it wasn't the physical DUD that we've mentioned that's trapped at Area 51. It was one of his slave brethren literally following orders unknowingly.
Because remember, this is the only conscious DUD that we have.
He is, yes. He is an anomaly.
Yeah. That's why he can go out and control them.
What was after that?
I think maybe we should get on to the survivors, really. Because there have been...
Something else?
Hold on, let me try to remember.
Yeah. Okay.
Go on.
So, the main DUD isn't completely powerless through livers and onions. He still has power to constantly rebuild. Not rebuild. It's not like he's, destroying and rebuilding again. Basically resetting the timeline. So he's constantly trying to get his slaves to make Bar his friend. He doesn't know how to do it. It just comes consciously because it's what he wants. He wants to make Bar his friend. which is why we see so many clips of Bart getting infected, because the DUD only does it to other people so he can grow his power, because he doesn't know his liver and onions weakening him. He just thinks it's because he's not strong enough yet. But Bart, he doesn't want to infect. But he does anyway because it's part of his nature. But he's constantly rewriting reality because he wants to make him his friend. But he can't. Now,
Exactly.
that is the story of the DUD. There's no end to it because he's still constantly trying to rewrite reality and forcing Homer to be his avatar, forcing him to die over and over again in the infected DUD minds. That's it. There has been instances where Homer has said livers and onions
And protected himself.
and protected himself, but because Bart doesn't know of that, eventually Bart gets infected anyway, and the DUD rewrites reality. So basically, all that happens when Homer resists it is he's just angry at Graggle because he thinks it's Graggle. Basically, there's not much to that. It's just like every couple of attempts at making Bart his friend, Homer resists it. But that's
Yeah,
about
exactly.
it. But the most that comes from that is him just being mad at Graggle. Did we mention Graggle stopping appearing after the DUD appeared?
No,
So after the DUD appeared, Graggle disappeared from the show.
yes, so Graggle stops appearing because he doesn't want to get obviously noticed by the DUD.
Because, yeah.
This is why we believe this is why he is thought of as what's the word, Mandela effect.
Oh, Mandela effect.
as in-
I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Because we can't see him, can we? Like we don't see him again, and people don't remember seeing him, or people do for some reason, right? This is
he's
why.
using his powers of cloaking.
Yes, he is hiding himself in what I believe, just from my knowledge and stuff, is underneath, like in that basement or under the stairs in the Simpsons house. I believe he's hiding there, like living there basically, and then also going out doing whatever he needs to. Yeah, like he is hiding himself so that the DUD doesn't spot him and then all of a sudden like go on a murderous rampage against him. He's trying to save himself.
Because the Graggles are an advanced form of being, so they are aware of the DUD's power, for a start, and their ability to hide themselves. For example, hiding himself from, like, the show.
Yeah,
But he isn't all-knowing. So he doesn't know that the DUD has mixed him up with Homer. So he is powerless because he's constantly unaware of what's going on in the outside world because he's constantly hiding himself. So he doesn't know that the DUD is forcing everybody in Springfield to eternal torture because he isn't aware that Homer is constantly being mixed up with him.
And how is he supposed to know that? There's no way he could.
Yeah, because he's just constantly hiding. Because he isn't omniscient.
Yeah.
He isn't omnipresent. He doesn't know everything everywhere all at once. It's a good reference, guys. Unintentional as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I'll give you that.
Honestly, got out a bit of here in the video shit.
Come on.
Been a fucking serious silent all the time. Jesus. So yeah, we spoke about his mixture with the Graggle. Mixture with Homer, sorry. We spoke about how he got here, getting his mates, well, his slaves, to do his bidding,
Yeah.
and wanting Bart to be his friend because of Millhouse. The singing. Livers and onions.
Yeah.
He's unaware of the fact that livers and onions weakens him. The anomalies of Homer universes where Homer resists it, but obviously Bart doesn't. So what do we need to talk about now? Survivors. Here we go.
Yes, survivors is a big part of this because
Yes.
obviously when you have this being that can basically kill everyone, the anomalies of having people survive is obviously very rare.
Yes.
Now, there have only been a couple people that we know have survived, and it's a very exclusive club. I'll happily say that. Starting with when we see Area 51 and we see the soldiers open the door, they open it, freeze for about 2 seconds, and they survive. They close the door. This is obviously because he's being fed these livers and onions.
His brethren,
Yeah. He's not
This is
got
before
his
he gets his breath in, because this is when he first comes to Earth, yeah.
when he first
So
yeah.
he's still very weak by this point.
So obviously he doesn't have the power to fully control them. So they just slam the door. They walk on with their day. Now we've got Maggie.
And
Oh, go on. I'll let you
okay,
talk.
so he hasn't actually met Homer yet. This is before he actually meets Homer. But the reason that they still get Homer's face is because he's seen Homer. He hasn't been with him yet, not physically, like nor has his brethren's manifestations, but he's seen Homer in his visions of Graggle. So it's less of the seeing Homer for the first time and thinking it's Graggle. It's going off faint flickers of memory of what the Graggle looks like and imagining Homer instead. So when he goes to Earth, he sees a person that looks like his vision of Graggle, and that's that. So basically, he's not getting necessarily mixed up like we've said, but like he's just looking at what he thinks is the Graggle.
Yes.
Because that's what his vision of him is. Because it's all of what he can remember, sort of.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
So that leads us to the second person that has somehow survived, which is Maggie. Now,
Yes.
Maggie is a very weird situation because obviously she's part of the main family, right? You would think that she would get infected. But have you noticed
I have a
something?
theory.
Have you? Or is it the same
Not to mention
thing?
this earlier.
Oh, go on.
Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's the same thing that we are thinking.
Go on, I'll let you say it on.
I think that Maggie is obviously Maggie is presented to be this powerful character from The Simpsons. Everyone knows that there's many episodes where Maggie is just shown to be this very powerful character, and we don't know why. Not relevant to the DUD. Where the fuck Maggie came from. But it's more her pacifier.
Yeah.
We think that the pacifier is what resists it, not Maggie herself, but the pacifier. I have a theory that Ethan may agree.
Go on.
That the pacifier is something that Maggie has gotten from the Graggle Society.
Oh, I like that.
To resist the DUD. Because eventually, Graggle, the main Graggle, eventually he was like, these potentially have a power to cause infection. Which is why he didn't like them initially. But this was before he fled his planet. So he created like an antidote.
Yeah.
The pacifier. Now, obviously, to them, it's not a pacifier. The same reason they are here. It's just like I don't know, like a science device thing over to them. But it resists the DUD's infection. Because Maggie is this clearly powerful being, she was aware of it. So she got hold of it to resist this DUD. So she's constantly aware of what's going on. She knows that she's been in a time loop, which is why she never ages. You know?
Yeah.
Because she's this all-powerful being. She's choosing not to fit in with a time loop.
Yeah.
And then
there's a reason she never takes the pacifier out.
because she knows that the DUD is constantly there.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, further on in the show you go, the less you see Maggie without the pacifier. Because if she's just growing more aware of the DUD's, like, presence.
She becomes self-aware, honestly. Like
Self-aware. Well, yeah. That's a pretty good way of putting it. But, it's turned into a Maggie lore deep dive video, really. It's mainly just about a pacifier being a
little savior. Yeah. There is one more character, I believe, that survives. If I pull up my notes real quick, because, like I said, we've been at this a lot.
Right?
Yes. Now, this is a weird one. This is a really weird one. We see this one video where we see Mr. Burns. He shows a photo of the DUD to the lawyer. Now, obviously, we're thinking, oh my god, the lawyer's going to get infected. The lawyer runs out the room without ever getting infected. Why? It's a really weird thing, because we don't know why.
This one I've not come up with anything, and I don't think you have either.
No, so our running theory is...
genuinely have...
That's it.
Well, I don't, anyway.
We don't have an idea.
You got anything?
No. This is a weird anomaly.
The lawyer's a dead end.
Yeah, we don't have enough information on the lawyer, because he's like a C-class character, right? We don't see him that much.
He's a background character, really, probably.
Yeah, we don't see him that much, right? So the reason why he is just this, I don't know why, like he survives. We don't know. It's as simple as that. We don't have a theory about that yet. So I'm going through the list now. So we've got the survivors. We've done. We've done livers and onions.
Yep.
Have we done Bart's presence knowledge? Like he knows.
Yeah, but that's only because the DUD is granting him the power to remember what's going on.
Yes.
So he knows. So he knows when something's about to happen because it's just like a force of rhythm, I guess.
Well, off my notes, we have only got one more thing to cover in this video,
Being
which is in one episode.
the
Well,
alternate universes.
Oh, so two more things actually.
Oh.
We'll do mine first. So in one of the videos, we see Homer get excited that it's new billboard day.
Repent.
Yes, we go. We see this board, and it's him. It's the Graggle. No, it's the DUD, and on it is a singular message that says "Repent."
Repent.
Now this thrown us for like a tad bit. I will admit, I was a bit thrown by this. I didn't know what to make of this. But then Harry came along and came up with an absolutely bangering idea. So go on.
Let me explain my go-to theory. Humble theorists. Okay. So, we established that the DUD came to Earth to track down Graggle based on visions of what he saw of him. Because he's a seeing being, he's a powerful being. He scanned Earth for what he thinks the Graggle looks like, and he found Homer. So this was before the board game. This was during when he was captured, when he was being fed livers and onions, semi-permanent infection, but still enough to manifest himself at some things. Now, because he's mad at the Graggle for creating his dry and barren and boring existence, he tracks down what he thinks is the Graggle, being Homer, manifests himself on a billboard, and along with a message saying, repent. Repent obviously being a word for begging for forgiveness, essentially, to God. So, he's viewing himself as a god. He's establishing like a hierarchy of power. Black Adam reference. Just to the Graggle, because he wants to have a superiority thing. He wants to be superior to his master, to his creator, because he's insecure essentially. This was the first instance where the Graggle manifested himself. So he came to Earth, knew nothing of his power, fed livers and onions, weaker than he thought, manifested himself for the first time in front of what he thought was Graggle, and told him to repent for his sins. So, this is where the semi-permanent infection comes in. So, because obviously he's being weakened, the infection is still very semi-permanent. Homer recovers.
Goes about his day.
But because now the DUD is aware of his existence, he manifests himself with a game that Homer buys for Bart. So when Bart and Milhouse and Marge and all that play the game, they open it, Bart sees the DUD, which is the manifestation. And that is where Homer's reaction comes from. That's where the DUD initially gets the idea to spread the infection to gain his power, because he thinks it was a coincidence thing. Homer's reaction was a coincidence to what happened when he infected someone. He thinks that his manifestations create more power. But it doesn't. It's just him gaslighting himself. Not intentionally. That's just what he thinks it is. And then obviously this is where he meets Milhouse, so he wants to make friends with Bart. But so then that's just where the time loop comes in. But that's basically the origins of the infection. He basically thinks that because of Homer's reaction, not being aware of the fact that it was just a complete coincidence to what happens after he infects someone, he thinks that his manifestations spread power, but it doesn't. So he gets his slave buddies, his brethren, to come to Earth, well, to follow his bidding and spread the infection. But deep down, it's literally just their combined power, not the DUDs, not the DUDs. He's still technically weak, just as weak as he always was, eating livers and onions in Area 51. It's just the fact that because of the other DUDs' powers, that they can follow the main DUD's bidding. But it's just that the main DUD thinks that it's because he's getting more powerful, but he isn't. That was a lot of waffling, I realise that now. But yeah, that's basically
it's fine.
just the very long version of it, yeah.
Well, you might be thinking, right, well, how does the DUD know that Homer was going to be there? We see that. It's plain and simply there. We see that Homer is excited for New Billboard Day. He knew that he goes to this billboard every day and he checks out the new billboards. Well, not every day, every week.
He's omniscient. He knows that Homer, he knows what he thinks his Graggle is.
Exactly. Now, that has caught us up. We have spent the last 40 minutes explaining what we think so far. But there is one thing we haven't touched on. We touched on it in the intro, but apart from that, we've not come back to it. Which is...
Let's just do a brief summary before we talk about the final thing.
Okay. Yeah, go on. I'll let you hit you with
We talked about origin, environment,
Yep.
motive,
Yep.
and survivors, weakening, everything about the DUD so far. Everything we know, what we think about the DUD. Now, there are technically two things. We mentioned the first one. We've actually mentioned both, one of them just more than the other.
Okay.
First, we're going to do the alternate universes, then we're going to touch on the thing that I wanted, because I think...
We do have to be quick, though, because the recording only lasts an hour, so we've got to fit this both into 20 minutes.
I can get this in 20 minutes, absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, so we've got the universes. Now, this is going to be a very short one, because it's very simple to understand.
Yeah.
The DUDs and the Graggles, in their respective solar system, orbit a black hole. And black hole, to a lot of people, is a wormhole to other universes. So, because the DUD thinks that infection makes him more powerful, even though it doesn't, he got his brethren to go into the wormhole and infect other universes, aka Family Guy, American Dad, Amazing World of Gumball, King of the Hill, there's probably other ones as well, like Bob's Burgers and various other ones that we haven't seen just yet.
Yeah. He's going around infecting these others.
He is aimlessly infecting other innocent universes for a soulless purpose, because technically it does nothing. It does nothing. All he's doing is just making these people paralysed for eternity, watching the Graggle, or Homer, die forever.
For no reason, basically.
It makes him more powerful. He thinks that if he gains enough power, he'll finally be able to make Barty's friends, but he won't. Because he won't ever gain more power, because he isn't actually gaining anything. He's just infecting innocent people for no fucking reason. But he's doing it because he thinks it works, but it doesn't. So
exactly.
That's the alternate universe thing. Pretty simple. It's
Now
just
the second thing.
DUD selfishness. The second thing. We raised about this in the beginning.
Go on.
You have an idea of what I'm about to say?
A faint one, yeah.
The cults.
Oh yes.
I finally have come up with a theory for what the cults were.
Oh, this is a live reaction here, boys.
Now, I obviously, this is the first time that I came up with this quite like halfway through the video, but I was waiting for the end to mention it because I feel like it's probably the most important thing.
Cool. Let's hear it.
So, the cults. We know the Graggle, the main scientist that came up with the idea for the DUDs. Now, obviously, they wanted to make slaves. And slaves aren't a good thing. This isn't an unpopular take, is it, really? History has told us that. That slaves aren't good. So I have a theory that the main Graggle was part of these cults, or this cult. We see multiple clips of different cults, but we don't know. They look like different cults, but we don't know they're different ones.
Yeah.
I think there was one cult on the Graggle's world that wanted to create slaves for their advanced civilization. But obviously, because they were undermined by their fellow Graggle brethren, they use their power of hiding themselves to basically just do it behind everyone's back. And that is the main reason that the Graggle fled his home planet. Because instead of telling his brethren of what is to come,
he ran.
Oh, we've made these slaves like we always said we wanted to. He regretted what happened, and because he was too scared to tell people on his planet, he fled to Earth to try and help them. Because basically, he was part of this evil cult that wanted to bring about a slave trade, essentially. Is there anything I'm missing there?
I think that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah? Touched on the cult, not wanting to tell his society about the slaves, so he fled to his planet because he was too afraid of what would happen to him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't him that developed the pacifiers, it was the rest of the Graggle society. They were like, this is really important, really, because this isn't to do with the DUD. They kind of just like had survivors of the DUD, and they worked in secret to create an antidote. But that's a whole different thing.
Well,
It doesn't really need to be touched on.
But hey, that is just a theory, a film theory.
Had to do it.
Yeah, I had to. Obviously,
that's great, that's
if you
great.
couldn't tell, this is very inspired by film theory.
Yeah.
If you have enjoyed, please, I would love to know what your thoughts are about this. Do you think we're right? If you think we're foolish 16-year-old boys just trying to piece together random bits of evidence, whatever you think, I want to. That's probably the main reaction to this. It was very fun for us. We had a lot of fun coming up with these theories in a day. We've done this all in one day. But if you have enjoyed, suck a dick, and if you haven't enjoyed, suck a dick. And I will see you lot in whatever I do next. Say goodbye, Mr. Harold.
Goodbye.
Alright, peace, boys.